Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the One Stop Podcast. As always, it's Brianna, Lindy, and Chris, and we are going to get straight into the COTA breakdown. We had a blast, and we're going to give you first-person POVs about the whole weekend, and then we're also going to talk about that race because it was mad crazy.
I am so tired.
I am so tired, too. That sun whooped my butt. So, let's get into the weekend. I can start with the excitement of COTA coming to Austin was absolutely insane. I think the traffic was the worst part.
It always is. Yeah. Traffic
Yeah.
was the worst part. It wasn't as bad as previous years, I feel like. I think partially due to the other events going on in Austin. So, it was still terrifying because COTA does not have the infrastructure around the track to support it. So,
No, they don't, but yeah.
It wasn't too bad.
No, it wasn't. And getting in was pretty easy, honestly. Walking through the security line didn't take too long. So, like, you pretty much could just pop in, and just go, which was really nice. No one wants to wait in line forever after just being in parking traffic for forever. I will say that first walk from the parking lot almost had me. I was like, okay, I knew I was going to be walking, but my God, I just walked 2 miles just to get to the front.
Yep. I did the math. I looked at my phone and we walked over 15 miles in 2 days. So
yeah.
Crazy.
It was a workout. Yeah. We burned all the calories off.
How'd y'all get the golf cart?
Probably shouldn't talk about that.
Well, the first day was kosher at the beginning. Everything was fine. Just some kind guy who was from South Africa, who worked there. I guess he didn't have anyone to pick up or drop off at the time, so he was just like, "Hey, you guys want to ride?" And he gave us one for free. It was so sweet. He just gave us a ride up there. Yeah.
Do they usually charge?
No, not really.
But like you tip them, and I was like, no, I don't need anything. Nice.
I think what did I don't even know what I tipped the first guy. $10. I don't know.
No, I think it was like $20 because you were just like, dude, that was so kind of you. Yeah.
So he got us for about halfway all the way up to the gates, and then I did dirty things to get the golf carts the rest of the weekend. Yeah, it wasn't.
Look, I need to know off the record.
Yeah, off the record, we'll discuss. We'll discuss more, but yeah. Well, Bree can attest to it. I can talk to anybody, so I just made friends with the guy. He's like, "I'll take care of it." I'm like, okay.
You did, and we were honestly quite honestly dying. So the end of the first day had us dehydrated. I was at the point where we had sat down to wait for a tram on the outside on the curb, and I was probably about 2 seconds away from just laying down and just taking a nap right there and just being, because we were just done. Feet were done.
I wore a whole
water.
What is water?
So
no.
I had water in another form.
Yeah, they're
all
called.
Day.
Well, there's no laws when you're drinking claws.
There are no laws when you're drinking claws. I broke a lot of laws. Yeah. But it was fantastic. The first day we showed up to the fan stage right as McLaren was. They were like, and that was Lando and Oscar, and I was like, oh, oops.
Yeah, we missed that one.
But then we made the treacherous walk to our turn at turn 9. Great views, but my God, I almost died for the second time that day.
Yeah,
that one did me in.
A lot of steps. And then just the foot traffic too. Friday wasn't
too bad.
Wasn't even that bad, but Saturday it was insane, the amount of foot traffic. There's just I feel like the management of that track, and I love the track, so I'm not saying anything against it, but they allow too many people in my opinion.
There's a lot.
The food lines get insane. There's people everywhere. It's insanity. If you have social anxiety, probably not the track you want to go to. It's
It is,
insane.
yeah. It had that moment, especially around the food, and I think it's because I wish more people watch the support races, because when we sat there and we watched the support races, I had the most fun.
Yeah.
It was insanely cool to watch them come on after like practice was over and things like that, and just sit there and watch. But that's when most people, go get their food because they want to they want to see the F1 stuff. But don't sleep on Porsche Cup at all. They were loud. They were
Masters
so
was good
loud.
too. Yeah, they had the
they were.
V10s and the V12s out there. I think there's a
Insane
few
sound.
V8s. And then I forget the name of the other one, but they had like this BMW M3 E36 that was screaming around the track. I was like, not a huge BMW fan, but I'll take that car every day of the week.
Yeah. But watching P1 was when I got to sit down and hear an F1 car for the first time in person, and pretty much lost it. It was so fun. I loved it. I looked at Chris. I was like, what? What did you just let me do? Like, this is so crazy. Instantly addicted.
I was so excited for Bree and our other friend that came with us too, because it was both their first time. I was like, oh, they're gonna love this, and so I was like excited to see someone that's never been to the racetrack, to see just their reaction and everything else. So it was very fulfilling for me just to see their reaction, and it was a great weekend, really great weekend.
It was great. It was it was so great, and then it wasn't. Okay, so like P1, right? P1, I was doing okay, the Ferrari girl and the Luham friend, like, these were okay. I was like, okay, this is still kind of slow. I don't like it. And then it just started to unravel through the weekend. Yeah. But that sprint was a sprint quali. Watching that in person was pretty insane. And that's when we got to see George Russell crash in front of us, because we were at turn 19, right where you did it.
No, that wasn't sprint. That was qualies. That was race.
Was that quali?
That was. Yeah.
Oh my God! See, this is why we were telling you it's hard to know exactly what you saw and what you did when you go there in person, because it all just kind of like blends together.
Yeah.
So then it wasn't that. No, we were at turn 1 with the Lando lawn. That's right.
Yeah.
We went to go visit the Lando lawn in Austin. To watch in the sun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Am I sunburned or no?
Move.
No, I look good.
No, it started to come down. But what was your opinion about that one, Lindy? I know there was some drama. out there.
Which one?
About sprint.
Okay, well, I remember sprint quali, because like you guys were saying, it's different when you see it in person. You don't get the commentary, you don't get all the different angles. So then Oscar didn't make it out of Q1, right?
Mm-hmm.
SQ1, right?
Yeah.
SQ1.
Okay. SQ1. Okay.
And then apparently there was a lot of drama between Liam Lawson and Fernando Alonso. He was basically like, that idiot, AlphaTauri, like, what is he doing? And they're not even called AlphaTauri anymore. And then apparently, like, I think after sprint quali or something, or maybe this was like free practice 1, but he like talked to Liam after and was just like basically saying, we're going to handle this on the track. Like, I'm going to show you up, little rookie. And Liam ended up showing up him instead. So it was just like, what? Crazy.
Alonso stays ready to fight. Okay. He is always ready to throw down with somebody.
Then you have Branko, who just throughout the whole weekend is not afraid to race anyone.
No. Yeah. That's a young buck state of mind. Yeah.
I love it.
No fear. Yeah.
Because he can back it up.
I don't care who you are.
Oh,
he's like, bring it on.
Speak of the devil, did you see how he ignored Martin Brundle on the grid?
Yes.
Walked right past him. He's like, I don't know who you are. Just
I saw him.
I was like, what is going on right now?
Yeah, that was pretty funny. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, overall though, it was a great weekend. Go ahead, Bree.
No, I was gonna say, I'm like, did I watch it, what happened to my brain.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, my mind is like, it's forgetting like what happened when, but I just remember events. Like the whole weekend, Pierre Gasly, I guess his mindset is like, look like a McLaren, race like a McLaren. Because all weekend he did really well. Both Haas's did really well.
Yeah. I do remember Mark was telling us that it was dead silent in the Alpine garage. And then as soon as they got his result, Pierre's side of the garage just lost it, just went nuts, went wild, and then he got out of the car and he told him that he was just completely stunned that he had gotten such a high place. And I was like, yeah, I was not expecting that either out of Alpine, but okay, I mean, go off.
Where'd it come from? Like,
Go off.
Yeah.
Go off. Say they could do it in Mexico. We'll see.
They may have fixed the car, is what I'm hoping for. But yeah, because Alpine was a good team, a good midfield team last year. They were competitive, and then something changed with the car design this year, I feel like. I don't think it's either driver's fault. I think they're just struggling with the car this year.
Agreed. I think they both have a lot of talent behind the wheel. I mean, they did have their one moment where the Alpines were Alpining and they were racing each other.
There's that. Yeah,
they were fighting each other pretty hard, and I was like, oh my gosh, here we go.
That happened in was it the sprint race, or was when Ferrari did the same thing?
I think it was when Ferrari did the same thing.
Carlos and Charles.
Was that the race or the sprint race? It's a blur to me. I'm exhausted.
I want to say that was sprint race.
I think it was
sprint too. Yeah.
They were just going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And Carlos was being so aggressive, but it was amazing.
You're right. Yeah, it was a sprint race. Yeah. Yeah, because we were there for it. We're like, oh, all right. I think so. Ferrari gonna Ferrari.
I remember he said it to me, and I was like, you know what? Not today, Chris. Not today.
It was so clean, though. Like, not once did they ever touch each other.
They usually don't touch each other. They always go wheel to wheel. They freak me out when they go wheel to wheel, though, because
another battle was Liam and Yuki.
Yeah. Especially
good.
on Sunday too, with Liam getting the undercut on Yuki. Yuki was not happy about that, not one bit. That was interesting to see. I don't know if I agree with Yuki's argument, because he had already lost, I think, 2 or 3 positions by the time Lawson had pitted, but he also had, I think, 18 laps on his tires. But it's still like he had already been beaten out by other drivers. But yeah, he did Yuki gonna Yuki. He was not happy at all.
Also lost positions.
Well, both of them on the same team.
Okay, but somebody went from 19 to 12, and then I look up and he's in the gravel.
Yeah. Literally 3 laps in and he was already out.
The fact that George was like, no, I'm not taking your parts. I'm like, okay, smart move, because I don't think those upgrades were working.
But George went from literally the very back to, like, was it P6? Or,
6 or 7,
somewhere around there,
yeah. Like, worked his way up the grid just the entire race. So, like, kudos to him, even with his penalty and everything.
Drove his butt off.
Yeah, did great. Then Liam got points, Franco got points.
Lawson got points. Haas got points.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Point,
which is
point.
crazy.
You're gonna point. You're gonna point. You're gonna point.
Like, okay, midfield. All right.
George, I think, pissed off about 150,000 people, though, by putting in the wall at the end of Q3 for the race, though, which was insane, because he ruined, I think Max at that point had 2 purple sectors and was ready to get P1 for the race.
He was flying.
And George, don't cuss, Chris, messed it up and hit a curb and flew into a wall at 125 miles an hour. That was super cool. We were right there.
Crazy.
So, like, I actually thought it was an Aston Martin when they came through. What was it? Exodus 7, because we were at turn 19 that weekend or that day. And so they were coming out of 17 into 18. in at 19, and the car just flew through it. And I was already looking at turn 20 and the pit entrance to see who was going to box. So I didn't even see the car fly off. I had to watch the replay, and I was there in person. And then I was like, was that an Aston Martin? And then the dust settled, and I was like, oh, that's a Mercedes. And then I think, Bree, you told me that was Russell. I was like, no way.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh my God.
I heard the change. My eyes had started to look forward again to kind of watch them turn the next corner because you could see a good vantage point from turn 19. But I heard the change in the grip on the track. Like all of a sudden you hear the car going and the tires, and then you hear it go, and then I was like, oh, somebody slid, and then you just see him going.
Yeah.
So from our vantage point, that car, sorry, Lindy, real quick. Okay. So from our vantage point, they're going into turn 19 right there. But my eyes were fixated on turn 20, watching who's going to try and get to the straight first. Mm-hmm. I heard it, but my mind didn't register it until I saw dust. I was like, what just happened?
This dummy over here goes, blimey. I'm like, oh my God.
Oh, yeah, I did do that. Blimey. The wall got right in the way.
It probably happens so fast, too. Like,
it does.
You blink and it's gone. Like, it's already happened.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. 100%.
He had to sit there for a second, too, because he was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good smack. It was a good little smack. We also got to see that whole issue with Lando kind of cutting a little too close and getting a little aggressive on that
with
turn
Matt?
20. Yeah, oh my gosh.
Well, I was going to say, like, after the Russell crash, I saw an interview where Lando was like, honestly, it was luck. I got so lucky. Like, he knew that his last lap was not going to be what probably Max was about to do. Mm-hmm. And he was like, I'm just glad that, I got that first lap in and it was as good as it was. Because he was like, I knew that it was not going to be my lap and Max was probably going to take it.
Well, that's what I'm curious about, too, is how Red Bull got fast all of a sudden again.
Mm-hmm. And they still took off that device.
Yeah, they took that device that lowers the bib down, and the car is arguably back to the top 2 fastest cars on the track, at least this last weekend. We'll see what happens in Mexico. But, the car got really fast again. So I'm not sure what happened. Well, other than Sunday. But I think the car had an issue on Sunday.
They looked fast again. Ferrari looked fast again, but McLaren didn't look as fast.
Yeah. No, they didn't. And I think confidence was a factor too. Especially after turn 1. It was like, this is not the plan that I went into with it, and then it's all falling apart. Yeah.
Because, okay, that was race day, right? So
that was race day.
We were all back here. Okay, so yeah, like, everyone is literally looking at, like, okay, is Lando gonna, like, kill the start, bottle the start? Is Max gonna overtake him? Then, bam, while those two are battling each other on the edge of the track, you have both Ferraris coming through and then Charles way in the front. And I'm like, where did it come from?
I would like to state,
come from?
I called it. I said, Lando's going to be busy fighting Max. Max is going to keep him busy. And while that's happening, Carlos was going to come through. But instead of Carlos, it was Charles. But I knew a Ferrari was coming through.
I thought it was going to be Carlos, too. I wasn't really expecting Charles.
She did call that. I was like, oh, really? You think Ferrari's going to win this? She's like,
I think Ferrari's going to win it.
Row 1 locked out.
Mm-hmm. Let's go.
Don't like any of it. But I think what's interesting to me is I think after this weekend with Lando's penalty, and I think Max is going to get another championship. I think that was it for Lando.
That was it.
That was because we got 4 or let's see, we got Mexico, Vegas, Brazil, Abu Dhabi, and Bahrain left, right? Or Bahrain, then Abu Dhabi.
Don't we have the 2 triple headers?
I don't want to type.
Wait, or was it a triple header and a double?
This was 19, so now we have 20, 21, 22, 23, 24.
Yeah, 5 races left. Okay, yeah.
So the triple and the double. Okay.
I don't know if Lando's going to be able to make up the difference at this point after this weekend. With getting P4.
He needs to pay attention to Charles.
Yeah.
Charles is coming for him now. Like, that's what the fight is now. Max is solidified. I'm going to do it again this year. And Charles is going to be sneaky.
Like, he's so focused on Max, and Charles has been creeping up, especially after that win and the Max points, like, creeping up. And then in the constructors, Ferrari is not too much more under Red Bull. And so they could pass Red Bull, and then it could be a fight for McLaren. I don't know. It just depends on how everyone continues to do.
If they lock in and keep this up and don't give me any Ferrari surprises, then yeah, we're gonna have a good time.
It's literally gonna be crazy. Like,
it's gonna be exciting racing for sure. It's gonna be. This is probably one of the best F1 seasons I think I can remember.
I agree.
We've got 7 winners at this point?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
something like that.
How many has Chuck got now?
3.
3?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, him and Lando are tied for 3.
Mm-hmm.
Lando's got 3. Piastri got his first. Sainz got 1 or...
Yeah, she has 2.
2?
Yeah, yes.
Baku.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Oh, 2. Lewis has 2. George has 1. Carlos has 1. I literally saw a chart about this morning.
No, you're right.
Max has, 5 or 6 now? The beginning of the season?
5.
4 or 5? Am I off?
Maybe 6, maybe 7. I don't know.
My brain is trying to think.
Dude, sleep deprived.
I know. I'm like, I literally don't even know my own name anymore.
I know. I'm with you.
Electricity.
Electricity.
Can we talk about that incident though between Max and Lando?
Yes, we
can. What do you guys think about that?
We sure can.
Oh, with the penalty in the race?
Yeah, just like that whole instance. I just wanted to hear both of y'all's thoughts. Do you think it was right? Do you think it was wrong?
I think it was a racing incident. I don't think either of them forced the car off. I think they were just racing their wheels off the cars. And, I mean, they both went off track. Me being partial to Max, of course, Red Bull fan. But he did gain an advantage off the track because he did get ahead of him. Where, like, I saw a comparison. Who was it? Who was the other ones? It was Russell and someone else. They gave the other driver a penalty. I forget who it was now.
Was it Gasly?
I think it was. Yeah, I think it was. But they gave Gasly... No, they gave Russell the penalty, I believe. But Russell didn't gain the advantage. He just forced the car off track. They kind of both forced him... With Lando and Max, they both overdrove the cars and forced each other off the track. But Lando gained the advantage, is how I see how the stewards interpreted it. But, I mean... I'm also not a steward, so...
When you watch the Sky Sports 360 cam on it, their little vantage point, they played it from both cars.
Yeah.
Definitely agree with you that it should have been a racing incident because, like, literally you see both of them. You don't even see the other car at that time when they're coming around. And it looks like they both, from their vantage point, had an open inside line.
Yeah.
Like... you did not see the other car at all, so it was actually kind of sucky for Lando to get that penalty.
Yeah, I mean, you
Max...
either...
Go ahead.
I was gonna say you either go off track or you run into the person next to you. Like, what are the options? Like, really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you know what we just had? We had another incident.
We
had the repeat of the incident. We did.
We had an incident.
That's not fair. He pushed me off the track. There
yeah, I feel like Max did have the apex because he was further ahead than the Russell and Gasly incident. They were neck and neck. But I do feel Max did have the apex.
Max was braking later by 38% at that turn.
Okay. I didn't look that far into it.
It popped up on my feed and I was he did like brake later, but Lando and the other part of the day I think want to say is acceleration. It like washed each other out essentially.
Gotcha.
Yeah. It's crazy.
I mean, they were so sure though that they were in the right, so they were like, risk the penalty, don't give back the position. And I was like, that's bold because you know it's probably gonna be in Max's favor.
Yeah.
And I love
think,
Lando, but
this is where we agree. I think Lando and his team should have said, "Hey, let's not risk it. Give back the position, and then let's start racing again and passing cleanly." But they chose to stick with the position, and the stewards sided the other way, so he lost it due to a 5-second penalty. And I don't know. If I was a race engineer, I'd probably would have played that a little bit different. Like, give it back and then get it back again.
And their strategy too, like they were so sure, like, well, you're gonna have 6 laps over Max with the new tire, so you can take him on. But then I saw this like little legend thing pop up while I was watching, and it said something like Lando was using more of his something than
his battery.
Yes,
his battery,
than
the
Max
energy.
was. Yeah. So I don't know.
Well, that's one thing Max is really good at. It's an art form to know how to regen, is through turns 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then going into 7. He was regen the entire time. We would watch the lights flash. He just knows how to feather the throttle and regen. That's how he was able to defend through the beginning of that battle for so long. And I don't honestly know of a better driver another driver that's better at how he regens the battery, because they were showing the stats and he was using 80% and Lando was using like 30%, but still Max was regenning all through those chicanes, which that's what makes that track so interesting too, is it's a great track for racing. So but it's at that point it's less science, more of a art form. And he was doing incredible work regen for the defense of that position. So it was pretty impressive. Both drivers were, doing great in my opinion. It was a
solid
exciting
racing.
race. Yeah.
It had me on the edge of my seat. I was getting so nervous. I was like, everyone knows that when Max and Lando go at it, it's bound to get dirty. Like,
you talking about Max Verstappen, homeboy is going to be all out, and Lando is hungry.
Yeah, no, everyone at our friend's house, we were all screaming at the TV at multiple different moments, because the action was really, really well. COTA did not disappoint one bit. Oh, and then what was the other thing with was it Ocon that stole the fastest lap?
Yeah,
it was Ocon, right? Yeah. And like P16? What was he?
I think so.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, wait, because before Ocon, didn't Franco have fastest lap?
Yeah.
Because after the race, or maybe it was during the race, he was like, why did the French have to change their tires? Can't they just give me back fastest lap? Like, he said something so funny.
Yeah.
He was like, I don't know, it's that French guy. I was like, but speaking of fastest lap, what do we think about the new rule change that they're going to get rid of that extra point for fastest lap?
Interesting.
I don't know. I like it for giving those in the points an extra point, because it helps the constructor, helps the driver. But I don't know. I think I like it, so I don't like the idea of getting rid of it.
Yeah.
We can talk about it now. Can't wait till Miami.
Yeah.
We can talk about Miami now.
All right. Okay. All right. So can't wait. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
We're hosting a Lando lawn.
We are hosting a Lando lawn, and we get to celebrate our 1-year anniversary with his 1-year anniversary. So I'm pretty excited for that.
And we have our own photographer.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that will help, because man, we were struggling to be watching. We're just like this with the phone, like at the same time. Like, am I getting good stuff? But I need to see the racing. I'm so excited. Drink water. Biggest advice: drink water. Get an umbrella.
Wear sunblock.
Wear comfy shoes.
Wear a hat if you're bold.
That's a wrap.
Yeah, that's a.
Well, that's a wrap. Thanks, you guys, for listening. See you next episode.
Yeah, see you guys next
when we
episode.
talk about the Mexican Grand Prix.